So, there was a little girl, and from one day to another, she started acting really strange. The mom says that she would run and hide behind doors, and the one occurrence that really scared her was the little girl has a hammock in her bedroom, and normally when she gets on that hammock, she would use her foot to rock back and forth. Well, one day she got on this hammock, and without pushing herself, started rocking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth very quickly, almost inhumane. I am picturing that in my head, and no thank you. The mom said that she also stopped talking, which is what made her go to the doctors, because obviously there was something wrong. However, at the doctors, the little girl was normal again. She would also talk to the doctors. The doctors were to find nothing wrong with this little girl. The mom would actually explain to the doctors she is acting weird, she runs and hides behind the door, she is not talking at all at home. And the doctor almost looked at her like she was the crazy one because her child was talking, her child was acting normal. There was nothing wrong with the girl. It was almost like the mom was being fucking crazy. They did end up checking her physically and mentally, and nothing was wrong with her, and they had no choice but to go back home. And that is when the mom got the idea to take her to a witch, a bruja. The witch ends up telling the mom that her husband is basically cheating on her with a younger girl, and that family of the younger girl is doing brujeria on her and the kid because they want his money. The bruja, the witch, tells her that they want to kill them because they want to live in her house. They want to make sure that they're out of the way so that that girl can marry her husband and keep all of these properties. The witch tells her that it's not just a little girl. It's gonna be your little girl, your siblings, your mom. They're trying to get rid of a whole line of, her family. Because being cheated on by your husband wasn't enough, now they want you dead too. So the mom's obviously well, what do we do? Can you help me? And the witch was like, yes, I can help you. So they have to plan everything out, and that night she goes home and she's making dinner. And as she's making dinner, she starts to hear some really weird sounds. She's walking around the house trying to figure out where this noise was coming from, and she realizes that it's coming from her daughter's bedroom. She opens the door to her bedroom and sees her daughter in a pool of blood, and she was eating her fingers. So when the mom sees this, she's hysterical, but she ties her hand because at this point, the little girl had eaten her fingers. There's no fingers to recover on the floor. She ate her fingers, so the mom kind of tied the hand so that it doesn't bleed out more and takes her to the hospital. Unfortunately, the daughter died at the hospital. So the doctors thought it was weird that she died for that, especially when the mom had tied her hand to make sure the blood wasn't coming out, and they ended up doing an autopsy. When they did the autopsy, they discovered that the little girl's heart had bite marks on it. They also found those bitten parts from her heart and her fingers inside of her stomach. Basically, they were all freaked out because how is it possible that there's bite marks on her heart and the bitten parts are in her stomach? That makes no sense. After everything, the mom ends up going back to the bruja. The mom explains how what she went through with the witch was one of the hardest things she had ever gone through, but they were able to get rid of the brujeria that other family had done to her. Of course, sadly, it was after she lost her daughter. So my shirt keeps falling off. So I have never heard of this before, but in the town that she lives in, only once in a year you are able to dig out your loved ones, clean them, change their clothes, and put them back to rest, and you never do it again. It only happens one time, and it happens a year, the anniversary, the year of their death. So the day comes and she goes and they take her daughter out, and she's about to clean her and change her when she notices something on the back of her head. She said that it was shiny, and she pulls on it, and it was almost like a fiber, a metal fiber. She explained it like one of those rough sponges that you use to really scrape a pan, that those little fibers, that's what she pulled out of her daughter's head. After that first fiber, she started pulling again and pulling, and bunches of those metal fibers. There was people there with the mom, and they kind of figured out that looks like witchcraft, and they ended up telling the mom, you need to get everything out of her. You need to get every one of those fibers out of her so that she can really lay to rest. The mom said that the people that were there with her ended up helping pull everything out of the little girl's head, and they laid her back to rest, and she almost felt some sort of relief. She can finally rest. Weirdly enough, that same day, they also pulled another lady out because it was a year, the same as her daughter, and They ended up pulling pieces of sponges from out of her stomach. Weird. Anyway, what do you guys think? I feel like that's so awful that her daughter died, but I also feel like when you do bad shit to people, like, it has to come back to you. There's no way it doesn't come back to you, right?